Hello folks, my name is Travis and welcome to this edition of Hope on Wheels. In this edition of Hope on Wheels, I'm going to talk about two different things in this video. The first is this. To the 60 people that are subscribed to my YouTube channel, I wanted to apologize. For those of you that have stuck around with me for a long time, you'll probably remember the first video I ever did, which is the introduction video, where I said I would be doing a video once a month, every month, probably within the first or second week would be posted to my channel for you guys to view. Well, as some of you are aware, I have not been consistent with the time frame of when the video is posted. As far as when I get the video in for the month, I'm not consistent. But I at least am consistent with the getting you a video every month. I'm here to tell you, I'm promising right now that I'm going to work on that and attempt to do much better at doing that. There's a variety of different reasons that's been occurring. I'm not going to get into that though. That's not the purpose of this video. I just wanted to start out by saying I'm sorry and I'm going to work on being better. To be honest, I'm also going to try something new. I don't know how that's going to work yet. I had not fully figured that out, but it's something that I've been researching and I've realized in order to make you guys probably enjoy my channel more, I probably should be doing. I'm going to try to, starting next month, get you 2 videos a month. We'll see how that goes. I don't know. I haven't figured out the content level and what is all going to be there, but I'm just going to give that a shot and see what happens. If I can come up with enough for 2 videos in a month. The second part of this video, I didn't want to get too long-winded there, is to say to everybody that is dealing with the pandemic world right now, who is a guardian of somebody who experiences a disability, or as I like to refer to this as somebody with a challenge, or somebody that's their own guardian, same wording as before. Socialization right now is tough for everybody. But it's doubly so when you live in a licensed location and the state has had to be pretty restrictive in what it will allow providers to do to make sure that the individuals that they support for health and safety are taken care of properly. And then you add things like the alert that I'm sure a lot of people got that Governor Dunleavy did last week, which, by the way, I got it as well, as did people that I work with. And for me, I'm just going to say this. I agree with what Governor Dunleavy said. I don't disagree with anything that he said. However, it's stuff that I'm already doing. I'm already doing all of that. I've been self-isolating, distancing, all that stuff since March. Before this was as big a problem as it is now. So for me, that video is like, okay, you're just reaffirming what I'm already doing. That being said, though, it does put a strain on your socialization ability when you have to do this, folks. I mean, I get it. We're social creatures, and we've had to be kind of locked indoors for almost just over half a year. And we're not able to do anything that is quote unquote normal for us. What I'm about to say is stuff that I do from my experience. What I do for me may not work for you. But I'm not going to just suggest socialization activities that will help break the social barrier. Because sometimes socialization doesn't always work. Whether you are not much of a social person or you don't have technology to be social, okay? Or maybe you do have technology to be social, but you don't have the bandwidth because you don't have high enough internet to be social as much as you want. One thing that I will recommend to people, especially people who are verbal, or let's say they are hearing impaired but they know how to do American Sign Language, I would suggest maybe starting a YouTube vlog. That's how this got started for me, because my former boss recommended it before he retired, and you know, I don't just do it now because I want to help people. There's a double-edged sword, and I talked about it the other day with my family when they called me. It's therapeutic for me. It allows me to get my stresses out, things that are bothering me. But the things that are bothering me, I know are bothering other people. So I'm able to talk about topics from my perspective sometimes and say, or a lot of the time, depending upon what the topic is, and say, okay, here's what I did to get around this problem. And hopefully what I produce helps you. So that's an option. Others, Facebook now has a, Facebook Live function where you can get on Facebook and chat with friends via video live. You have to read their comments because they can't comment to you in video, but I've done that once and it worked really well. Matter of fact, I'm thinking about starting to do that a little bit more now. Just because I do have a lot of friends that I interact with that I have on Facebook that I don't talk to unless I'm on Facebook, and that for me can be kind of fun. My family and I, we do FaceTime on occasion, but more often than not, we just either do a voice text, which with an iPhone, if you go into the message center for anyone who has an iPhone but has never done the voice texting, there's a little circle with lines through it right next to the text window on the bottom of the app there. You hit that, you press that, you hold that, you talk, just like I'm talking now, and then you can hit the send arrow, just like you would for any other text. And it'll go through, but it'll be your voice talking as the message. I have a friend who experiences the same disability, or again, as I like to call it, a challenge, that I do. Well, he has less hand dexterity than I do. So we have been doing a lot of voice texting back and forth. Matter of fact, he just recently subscribed to my channel, so I'm hoping when I post this video, he'll be watching it and he'll probably grin because he'll know who I'm talking about. But we've been doing a lot of that. I've been doing that feature quite a bit with my family because they'll suggest things to me, or they'll want to check in really quick and just want a quick response. They won't want a long conversation, but I'll send them a long message that they can listen to at any point in time with more information, versus me trying to correct all the errors that Siri will make when doing a voice a voice dictation thing with Siri, where it autocorrects and makes like a dozen errors. It's just easier with the voice texting. I personally don't socialize too much with a lot of people just because my choice, but I love listening to music that uplifts me, music that I grew up on. that keeps me from losing my mind. I also love audiobooks. Um, I have like 437 audiobooks in my Audible library. I'm an avid member of Audible. Um, I love that company. Um, I also am a video game person. Thanks to one of my brothers last year, I got for Christmas the adaptive Xbox controller, and they bought me some other pieces to go along with it. Well, I since then have become a more fun or more avid, shouldn't say more fun, more avid player of video games because I can actually play them now with some uh, chance of success. There's a lot of video games that I love to play, and in my head, I made sense of, and I figured out how to do something, but physically getting my character to do that on the game because of my dexterity, even though I know how to do it, was impossible. So my brother got me the controller. I've been using it, and it's been fantastic. I mean, after a hard day of work, or if I'm really stressed out, even during the pandemic, I'll sit down and I'll play a video game for 30 minutes, and then I'll be like, okay, my mind was not even on what was bothering me. It was on the game, and I was able to put myself in that world for a little bit. It helps me out a lot with not being so stressed out. That's been a really big help for me. Like I said, games are one part of it. The other thing, the one other thing that I do a lot of, and to my family members who watch my channel, they're probably going to be grinning because they know me better than anyone else. I'm an avid movie watcher. I've got a movie collection that probably would rival some movie stores. And I watch things like, just as an example, Star Trek Next Generation. For me, pulls me out of my head. Yes, it's old. Yes, that show isn't even played anymore, except for if you are watching the show digitally or on disc. But I wouldn't even be where I am right now and be able to give you this advice had shows like that not come along, because that is what spurred, one of the things that I firmly believe spurred technology to where it is now. Is shows like that where it gave you the idea that, hey, things like talking to your phone, talking to your computer, being able to use your voice to type on a screen is possible. But those kinds of things are what keep me going and keep me from being socially isolated. And then I find groups of people that have similar interests to myself. I have one friend who loves Star Trek Next Generation. Matter of fact, that particular friend said that, since his wife has been home, she's been into Star Trek Deep Space Nine. And he joked with me the other time when he called me to chat with me, to check on me. And this is a friend I should mention that I've been friends with this person for 27 years or more. When he called me to check on me, he mentioned that his wife was really getting into Deep Space Nine, and his first reaction when he realized how much she was into it, because he knew I was into all Star Trek except for the Star Trek Destiny, to be honest. He said to me, "You need to call Travis, and his wife knows me. We all went to school together, and you guys should just have a fun conversation between you about Star Trek, because he knows a lot about Star Trek, but now she blows him out of the water. And Star Trek is one of the things that all three of us love to talk about when we're on the phone. It's not something we obsess over, but it's one of the topics we always seem to run across, even if it's for a couple of minutes. But socialization is hard for anybody right now, but keep in mind that technology helps. Now, that being said, technology nowadays, unfortunately, you have to have internet in order to do it. And if you don't, you need a data plan if you don't have internet. And you also need a data plan that wherever you're at, you can actually get reception. I also understand how difficult all of that can be because it's a nightmare. So, if you can't do any of that, then another way for socialization to work, it may not seem ideal, but if you know a neighbor or something, obviously going into a person's house right now, even if you don't live in a group home but you experience a disability, not a good idea. But what you could do, write a letter. Even if you have to use your computer, you don't need internet to be able to do that or use Dragon. Write a letter to stick into a card or something if you wanted to. Stick the card in the mailbox. There you go. It's still a way to socialize, folks. I just recommend find whatever way works for you the best and go from there. But I encourage you to consider, because yes, the pandemic has gotten me down, but I'm still able to live my life. I hope this video helps uplift you guys a little bit. The last thing I want to say is if you guys have topics that you'd like me to talk about or cover, or you have questions, please leave them in the comments down below, and I will gladly get back to you. I've now got my analytics set up to remind me when comments and stuff are coming in, because YouTube changed that, so I had to figure out how to reset that. So now I'm actually able to get those comments more readily. I didn't realize I wasn't getting a bunch of them, so to those of you that have left me comments off and on for the past couple of years, some of them I just now got because YouTube had changed something that I wasn't aware that they had changed, and some of the older comments I didn't even know were there. I had to go and find them, but now I get them all. I apologize, but please leave the suggestions in the comments below. If you'd rather talk to me directly and not through YouTube, you can reach me at T as in Travis, Noah, Noah, at hopealaska.org. And that's all lowercase. Until next time, folks, I hope this video helped you out, and have a good day. Take care.